welcome to this channel. I'm really happy that you're here. I am Dinara, a relationship coach, a soft skills trainer, and a neuropsychologist. Not long ago, I came up with an idea that I should be more constant on YouTube. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but I'm learning how to stay consistent, how to make it fun for me, and how to bring the biggest amount of value that I can to the audience that's watching this kind of content. So I decided to make an agreement with myself to start a challenge. And the challenge is the following. I'm going to create 100 videos in the playlist called 100 Life Lessons from a Professional Coach. And I'll be posting content about my mindset, about my philosophy of life, my perception of things that have shaped me, who I am, that have transformed my mindset and allowed me or enabled me to experience joy, a sense of freedom, a sense of inner peace, and also life hacks that I share with my clients that decide to work with me long term. So in this short video lesson, I'm going to tell you about a life hack that I started implementing some years ago, and it really was a game changer. The first life lesson is the following: to tell yourself stories about yourself in the past tense. If you have worked with me already in the past, then you know it very well, because it's something that I introduce to my clients on the second or third session so that we can be more present in the moment and not stuck in the past that cannot be changed, right? We need to embrace the fact that everything is alive in this world. So are we. We change every day, if not every second. So let me give you an example. Imagine that you are afraid of speaking in public, right? It's the kind of fear that has been with you for many years because you had a bunch of uncomfortable experiences as a school student or as a university student who was doing some presentations and got some critical feedback. So you can be stuck in that story and repeat it to yourself, saying, I'm afraid of public speaking, I'm not good at it, and things like that. But it's not going to help you evolve. It's only going to reinforce this lack of self-esteem, this lack of confidence when it comes to public speaking. Because if you talk about it a lot, it means that something bothers you, that you're not happy with the way it is, right? So why don't you try to shift it a little bit? Why don't you tell yourself, I used to be afraid of public speaking. I had a couple of experiences where it didn't go so well, but now I'm slowly learning how to be more comfortable when speaking in public. Now I'm slowly improving. I'm learning about it. I am becoming more confident each time I think about it, or each time I rehearse, or each time I'm exposed to an audience. Each experience is going to make me more and more confident. Why don't you try to change that rhetoric? In fact, I have just remembered that I read a book some years ago by Marisa Peer, and the book is called Tell Yourself a Better Lie. In fact, I have it right here. It's right here, yes. If you haven't read this book yet, I highly recommend it to you. I'm not getting sponsored in this video yet, but I'm just from the bottom of my heart, I totally recommend this book for you. I have never worked with Marisa Peer, but I've read a bunch of her books. She's a very powerful hypnotherapist and a great coach, I suppose, because she's really good at shifting the perspectives, and she's really good at helping you develop some tools to work with your mindset and to really tell yourself different stories, because we live in the world of stories. We tell ourselves about it, right? Because something can happen, right? But 10 people can interpret that thing differently. So even the fact that you think that you are not good at public speaking, this can be your subjective perception. So if we live in the world of subjective perceptions, why don't you take the leading role here and rewire those stories and rewire the way you're thinking about it, rewire what you're telling yourself. So this one is a very powerful tool. I use it a lot. Whenever I catch myself thinking that I don't know, I'm not really good at creating content on Instagram. I don't feel motivated to post every day. Is that objective truth? Or is what I'm saying based on a couple of experiences from the past? Because what we say really shapes us, really shapes how we perceive ourselves. Language is power. Words can be powerful. Words can be used as weapons to hurt other people, or they can be used as I call it, warm showers to give other people feel love. So why do we sometimes hurt ourselves with some words? We create certain cages, we create certain limits with the way we speak to ourselves. So why don't we just change the tone of voice we're using when we speak to ourselves? Why don't we change the stories we keep repeating ourselves? If you still have a bit of resistance to changing those stories, why don't you ask yourself the following? Is it useful for you to repeat that story to yourself now and again? Does it serve you to repeat that story to yourself every day? Probably doesn't. And it's okay to let go. You probably can't even imagine what kind of person you are without repeating those stories. Why don't you find out? You might be positively surprised. So do me a favor. Ask yourself, what's that story that you want to start telling yourself differently? Something is happening with the light. Interesting, this lamp is speaking to me. I guess it's applauding me. Huh, I love that. So what's the story that you want to start telling yourself differently? And when you do, what kind of benefit will it give you? Do me a favor and answer those questions. If you want, you can leave a couple of comments and stay tuned for more videos. It was awesome that you were here and you stayed until the end. I believe in you. I know that you can change your mindset. I know that you can get better at emotion regulation. I know that you are totally capable of improving that relationship with yourself and with the loved ones. See you later.